Brewed couple sentenced to 14 days in jail.
Hello.
11 arrested over Menteri Sial fracas. Hi, I'm Desiree Gasper and you're watching Cuppa News. Many of us would have watched the viral clip of this couple harassing a female Shah Alam City Council officer in Sungai Buloh yesterday. Well, guess what? Thanks to swift action by the cops, the couple were charged in court today and sentenced to 14 days jail each. Husband and wife Lor Kah Hu and Tan Sit Fan pleaded guilty to the charge under Section 353 of the Penal Code for using violence to intimidate civil servants in carrying out their duties. On top of the jail sentence, Magistrate P. Saralada also slapped the accused with a fine of 3,000 ringgit each in default 7 days jail. The court also allowed a stay of execution pending an appeal and the couple were granted bail at 2,000 ringgit each. The incident occurred at a car park area in Bukit Ramanputra at about 10:30 a.m. The City Council officer was cornered by the couple after issuing a traffic summons to Tan for failing to display a parking coupon. The police arrested the couple on the day of the incident.
Hello.
In a landmark decision, the Court of Appeal today ruled that Section 3, Subsection 3 of the Sedition Act is unconstitutional. The ruling essentially means that the prosecution would have to prove intention when citing a person for sedition. The judgment was read out by Justice Varghese George Varghese, who was part of a three-man panel during a trial in favour of PKR's Sri Muda Assemblyman Mat Suhaimi Shafi's appeal to challenge the constitutionality of the Sedition Act in relation to seditious tendency and its penalty. In February 2011, Mat Suhaimi was charged in the Shah Alam Sessions Court with posting material on his blog which had allegedly insulted the Selangor Sultan. The ringgit fell to 4.469 against the dollar, the lowest since the 1997 financial crisis. In an immediate response to the worrying trend, the central bank asked banks to adhere to currency trading regulations. In a statement today, Bank Negara Malaysia said that this is to prevent facilitation of offshore ringgit non-deliverable forward or NDF market. Bank Negara attributed the falling ringgit and its volatility to activities and prices in the offshore NDF market, which is not necessarily reflective of economic fundamentals and underlying trade and investment activities. Between November 14th and 18th, the Malaysian bond and forex market saw a transaction volume of 39.7 billion ringgit and $49.1 billion compared with 17.8 billion ringgit and $31.6 billion in the preceding week. A number of foreign banks have been discussing with the central bank on their financial market transaction needs without causing market disruption. The lowest point of the fall of ringgit during the 1997 crisis was at 4.4602. The IGP has said that there is no way he will reveal evidence justifying the detention of Bersih chairman Maria Chin Abdullah just because certain groups are demanding for it. Tan Sri Khalid Abu Bakar said that there was no obligation for the police to do so.
I have given a lengthy explanation on why we arrest her, why we detain her. I think I have given enough explanation on that. I know some parties are asking us to show whatever proof we have. No, that is not the way it works.
He said that police would conduct their investigations and the findings would be forwarded to the Attorney General's chambers for further action. He had earlier said that Maria was detained on November 18th under the Security Offences Special Measures Act after investigators found documents detrimental to parliamentary democracy at her office. Yesterday, the Bersih Committee said Khalid's claims were outrageous and had no basis whatsoever. They said they knew what documents were taken and it was absurd to suggest that the documents could be linked to a threat to security. About 30 people stormed an exhibition by political cartoonist Zulkifli Anwar ul Haq at Komta in Penang this afternoon to protest against his controversial works. The cartoonist, better known as Zuna, was present when the incident took place. The group, led by Penang UMNO Youth Chief Rafizal Abdul Rahim and Gabungan Perwakilan Melayu Pulau Pinang Chief Ridzuat Muhammad Azuddin, brought down the exhibits during the incident. Later, the group confronted and demanded for Zuna to remove his works, which they said were condemning to the Prime Minister. After a 30-minute confrontation, the exhibits were taken down to end the episode. There is a new development on the fracas that happened outside Parliament yesterday. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Commissioner Dato' Amar Singh said that 10 men surrendered after being called up by the police, while a woman, Nurbaiti Taha, surrendered without being called up. Among the 11 include Firdaus Tajuddin, the son of Pasir Salah MP Dato' Tajuddin Abdul Rahman. The group, which had allegedly attacked Shah Alam MP Khalid Samad over his remarks in Parliament that Tajuddin is a Menteri Sial, will be investigated under Section 147 of the Penal Code for rioting. In other news, Pandan MP Rafizi Ramli announced on his website that he's resigning as PKR Secretary General following uncertainty over his political future due to his 18-month jail sentence under the Official Secrets Act. Former Secretary General Datuk Saifuddin Nasution will take over effective tomorrow. Rafizi said if he continued to serve as Secretary General, it would give the ruling BN coalition the opportunity to attack PKR in its preparations for the coming general election. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said UMNO had never discussed political cooperation or, in Islamic terms, tahaluf siyasi with PAS. The UMNO Vice President told Bernama that the two parties only discussed issues that concerned the interests of Muslims in the country and tried to find a common ground on the issues. He added that Muslim leaders, regardless of their political alliances and differences in opinions, should work together for the betterment of Muslims. In sports news, the Cabinet has decided not to withdraw the Malaysian football team from the AFF Suzuki Cup in Myanmar. Youth and Sports Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the government would use other means to protest the atrocities against ethnic Rohingyas in the Rakhine state there.
Kabinet telah buat keputusan pasukan kita terus selesaikan perlawanan di Myanmar. Dan seterusnya tindakan diplomatik akan diumumkan nanti oleh Kementerian Luar Negeri.
Malaysia and Myanmar will be up against each other tomorrow. In world news, Muslims in several countries staged protests to urge the Myanmar government to conduct a fair and transparent investigation into violence in the country's Rakhine state. In Kuala Lumpur, the protesters, including Rohingya people, called for the killing to stop. In Thailand, hundreds of people gathered in front of the Myanmar embassy. The protests were also held in Indonesia and Bangladesh, mounting pressure on Naypyidaw to take action as many Rohingya Muslims flee across the border to Bangladesh, China and other ASEAN nations. Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi has said that investigations are underway and its government is trying to get to the root of the matter. In the Semnan province in Iran, 2 passenger trains collided this morning, killing at least 15 people and injuring many others. Reports say 100 passengers had been rescued while the injured passengers hospitalized. Firefighters contained the fire that broke out after the crash at the Hafkan station in Sharad city, about 400 kilometers east of Tehran. 3.5 million people celebrated a holiday tradition in New York at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday. It was the 90th edition of the celebrated event and featured one of its newest balloons, Charlie Brown from the cartoon strip Peanuts, as well as one of its oldest balloons, Felix the Cat. The parade started at Central Park and ran down 6th Avenue before ending near the Macy's department store on 34th Street. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.